A bat once gripped and swung by the legendary Joe DiMaggio himself takes center stage today, a true relic of baseball history. This bat was brought by our guest in 1976 for $147, nearly a week's wages, out of pure admiration for the Yankee legend. Joe DiMaggio, the Yankees center fielder, was a three-time MVP, best known for his unmatched 56-game hitting streak in 1941. He was widely considered as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. With the Louisville Slugger brand name stamped on it, this brand was expertly crafted by Hillerick and Bradsby, adding to its appeal. Interestingly, this bat is one of DiMaggio's very few bread and butter bats, with its unique characteristics he personally added.
He said, "Well, you got my bread and butter bat." He said, I get a shipment, and I go through the bats, and I pick the one that feels good. I dip it in olive oil, and I sprinkle rosin on it, and then I put it under a flame. When it sets, I sand it smooth.
A notable feature is the tape on the handle, likely added to reinforce a few cracks. This bat measures 35 3/4 inches, a precise length suited to DiMaggio's powerful yet graceful swing. Slightly lighter than its original 36 ounces due to sanding and use, this bat weighs 35.7 ounces, further solidifying its authenticity. Made of ash, this bat has the ideal balance of strength and flexibility, giving the player control over where to hit the ball. This bat has a D29 serial number on its knob, further confirming its authenticity. Notably, this bat was used in 1947, one of DiMaggio's MVP years, adding to its desirability. Game-used bats, signed by the legendary player DiMaggio, are very hard to come by.
They're hard to come by. They're very desirable to the collectors. I can find records, as auction records have been databased now for 20 so years. I can find maybe about 50 examples.
Due to the rarity of this bat among collectors and baseball enthusiasts, its value at auction is expected to be approximately
Place a value at auction of $80,000 to $100,000.
Oh. And for insurance purposes, the replacement value of this bat would be
I would have a value placed on it for insurance purposes of $125,000.
Wow.
A baseball that captures the golden era of the sport and the legacy of three Hall of Fame players, this 1922 signed baseball originates from a game between the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees. Inherited from his stepfather, who attended the game, this baseball and its story has been preserved in the guest's family for many years. But does our guest truly know its worth?
Stepdad and his child, he was 8 years old, and his dad had taken him to the game, and they went down to the dugout. His stepdad gave it to Babe Ruth to sign, and then Babe Ruth gave it to Lou Gehrig, and presumably gave it to Tony Lazzeri to sign.
Perfect.
Interestingly, this baseball is signed by Hall of Famers of the New York Yankees from the late 1920s. Signed by Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Tony Lazzeri, three members of the legendary Murderers Row, this ball holds significant value among collectors.
We see Babe Ruth on the sweet spot where he should be. You got Lou Gehrig on one of the side panels, and flanking him is Tony Lazzeri.
Yeah. Murderers Row was a nickname specifically describing the first six hitters in the Yankees' formidable 1927 lineup: Earl Combs, Mark Koenig, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Bob Musial, and Tony Lazzeri. Characterized by its red and blue stitching and manufacturer stamps, this baseball showcases its authenticity. All signatures on this baseball are in black ink. While they have faded over time, they remain strong and legible. Interestingly, this particular ball scored, revealing that the Yankees lost the game 9-8, not one of their best years. Given its authenticity, story, and its direct link to the legends of baseball, this 1922 baseball is valued at.
At auction, we estimate this ball could sell for $25,000.
For insurance purposes, the ball should be valued at.
You could insure it for $35,000.
Wow, that's even more than I had thought. I've been thinking this ball was really worth.
A baseball rich in history and a testament to a great game, this 1927 signed baseball represents a golden era for the New York Yankees. Passed down to our guest by his grandfather, this extraordinary baseball was caught at the end of a game.
Well, my grandfather caught that in Yankee Stadium, I think in 1927. Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig stood on second base and hit a couple boxes of balls out in the bleachers.
Featuring the signatures of legendary players from one of the most dominant teams in baseball history, the New York Yankees, this ball is a remarkable piece of the sport's legacy. The New York Yankees, an American professional baseball team based in the Bronx, New York City, compete in Major League Baseball, MLB, as a member of the American League, AL East Division. Capturing the dominance of the iconic Murderers Row lineup and the unforgettable 1927 Yankees season, this ball was signed by two of the most legendary figures in baseball history, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
They went out to second base and hit him into the stands.
Normally, we don't like to show baseballs that have more than one signature on them unless they're a team, because it generally devalues the ball. But that's different in the case of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig were two of the most famous athletes in the United States in 1927. Ruth hit a record-setting 60 home runs in the season, a record that stood for 34 years. Gehrig also had a breakthrough year, winning the American League MVP award with 47 home runs, 173 RBIs, and a .373 batting average. Notably, the signature on this baseball is bold and dark, increasing the desirability. This 1927 ball signed by both Ruth and Gehrig is extremely rare and valuable due to its connection to these legendary duo. Despite signs of wear, the authenticity and provenance of this piece make it a valuable collector's item. An appropriate insurance value for this signed baseball, even in its present condition, is...
I wouldn't insure it for less than $20,000.
Whoa, my goodness.
It's an amazing piece.
Wow.
A rare and historically significant collection, this remarkable set offers a unique glimpse into baseball's storied past. Our guest presents 3 signed baseballs, a photograph, and a National Association of Professional Baseball pass that was given to his father in 1938. The first item on display is a photograph signed by Babe Ruth, personally dedicated to the guest when he was just 2 years old in Fargo. Babe Ruth, widely regarded as one of the greatest baseball players of all time, was a legendary slugger whose impact on the sport remains unparalleled. The highlight of this collection is a dual-signed baseball by Babe Ruth and Roger Maris, known as the pièce de résistance. Though slightly smudged, when flipped over, this pièce de résistance shows Roger Maris's signature, which remains bold and clear, holding significant historical and sentimental value.
Roger Maris was signed by my father into professional baseball when he pitched in Fargo for the Fargo-Moorhead Twins, a Class C Northern League at that time.
Next is a 1936 baseball, autographed by Grover Cleveland Alexander while he was traveling, acquired when our guest was about 11 years old.
I got that one when I was about 10 or 11 years old under the stadium in Wahpeton, North Dakota. He was taking a shower out of a bucket. He was barnstorming across the country. He lived in Los Angeles.
Grover Cleveland Alexander was a Hall of Fame pitcher, considered one of the greatest to ever take the mound, known for his pinpoint accuracy and dominance in the early days of baseball. Also included in this collection is a 1936 home run ball hit by Red Kress of the Washington Senators, signed by the entire Senators team. Lastly, the National Association of Professional Baseball pass from 1938, signed, and it granted the guest's father free access to any baseball park in the United States. This pass ties the collection together, illustrating how these incredible pieces were gathered over a lifetime.
In the United States.
Terrific, and the baseball pass ties in the provenance and story that you're telling. Your dad having the access to the ballparks and being there.
The value of this entire collection of baseball memorabilia at auction would be...
basically is a package that's somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000.
Oh my gosh.
A piece of history cherished for generations, this watch has remained a treasured family artifact, symbolizing a legacy of greatness. The guest, the great-granddaughter of the famous Jess Willard, brought in his boxing photograph and his 1915 championship watch. Jess Willard, known as the Potawatomi Giant for his towering height of 6'6" and weight of 240 pounds, claimed the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship by defeating Jack Johnson in 1915. In 1910, Willard decided to pursue boxing as a means of earning a living, despite being known for his gentle nature.
And your great-grandfather said he decided to become a boxer because he wasn't well educated and he thought it was a good way to make a living.
Though he lost his first bout in 1911, he went on to win 23 or 24 of his next fights, proving his strength and resilience in the ring. His fight against Jack Johnson in 1915 was one of the most significant, dramatic, and, to some, controversial bouts in boxing history. The match took place at the Oriental Racetrack in Havana, a newly opened venue that gained widespread attention due to the event. Jack Johnson started off dominating the fight, but a critical turning point allowed Jess Willard to make a comeback, securing his victory and claiming the heavyweight championship.
Jack Johnson was winning most of the rounds, but the turning point was the 20th round. And all of a sudden, your great-grandfather started picking up a head of steam and started hitting Jack Johnson more. And in the 26th round, he hit him with a right and put him down. And it's said that Jack Johnson tried to grab hold of Willard as he was going down, but couldn't, fell to the mat. And your great-grandfather won.
The owners of the Oriental Racetrack, thrilled with the publicity the fight had brought to their venue, commissioned these watches as a token of appreciation, presenting one to both Jess Willard and Jack Johnson. Willard went on to defend his title for 4 years, before eventually losing to Jack Dempsey in 1919. Featuring intricate detailing and robust craftsmanship, the watch is a testament to early 20th century horology. Crafted from 18-karat gold, it boasts a durable case and a clear, legible dial. When flipped over, the back of the watch reveals an engraving that reads, "Presented to Jess Willard, heavyweight champion, Havana, April 6, 1915. This inscription, along with its historical significance, makes this watch a highly valuable collector's piece, placing its auction value at
$15,000 to $25,000.
Oh, wow.
While an insurance value for this incredible piece of horology would be,
I'd insure it for $50,000.
Wow. Wow. That's very surprising.
a symbol of the resurrection of baseball, this award represents a pivotal moment in the sport's history and serves as a testament to Babe Ruth's transformative impact on the game. Purchased by our guest at an auction for $1,900. This extraordinary piece reflects a deep appreciation for rare and unusual memorabilia. This historic artifact was awarded to Babe Ruth during his time with the Boston Red Sox, recognizing his achievement of setting a new Major League Baseball single-season home run record. Babe Ruth, an American baseball legend, holds a significant place in sports history as a player who revolutionized the game. Debuting in 1914, during what was known as the dead ball era, Ruth initially played as a pitcher. However, as his extraordinary hitting abilities became apparent, he was moved to the outfield full-time, where he shattered the home run record with 29 home runs in 1919.
In fact, with his pitching career, he won 20 games, 2 years. But what they found is he would hit very, very well, far beyond what an average pitcher would hit. So they realized that he was as much or more value to the Red Sox by putting him in the outfield.
This award was specifically crafted in appreciation of his record-setting performance, also symbolizing his transitions.
And this, to me, not only shows the transition of him becoming a slugger, but it's the transition of him from going from Boston to New York, because as you mentioned...
From that point on, Babe Ruth continued to break records. And after being sold to the New York Yankees in 1920, he became a full-time power hitter, ushering in the live ball era.
In 1927, he set the record of 60 home runs that was not broken until Roger Maris in 1961. Just a phenomenal slugging career and changed the complexion of baseball forever.
Comprising this record award box is a tiny cue ball made of marine ivory, most likely from walrus tusk, a material considered more valuable than other ivory due to its lack of modern restrictions. Also included in the box is a miniature bat, crafted from silver, engraved with 29 home runs. When flipped over, it reveals an inscription of Babe Ruth's name, further cementing its authenticity and importance. Given its rarity, craftsmanship, authenticity, and historical significance, one can expect this box and its content to be worth.
I'd put an auction estimate of $10,000 to $15,000 on this.
Terrific. This is wonderful. A home run.
It is a home run.
These banners commemorating a remarkable undefeated season in the history of Yale College football stand as a testament to the team's enduring legacy. Brought in by the guest, who is the nephew of the esteemed and renowned John Augustus Hartwell, a right end for the Yale football team in 1891. John Augustus Hartwell was an American college football player, coach, military officer, and physician. In 1891, the Yale College football players didn't lose 1 point, drawing a large number of spectators from far to watch the game.
Actually, the last game of the season, 40,000 people showed up at that game, at the 1891 last game. And that, in and of itself, was important because it really gave notoriety or importance to college football at that time, really brought it into the public eye.
The team was composed of exceptional players, as seen in the accompanying photograph, including Walter Pudge Heffelfinger, one of the most celebrated football players of the era. Walter Pudge Heffelfinger was an American football player and coach, and he is considered the first athlete to play American football professionally. The banners, crafted from high-quality silk fabrics with durable stitching and gilt over the top, reflect the exquisite craftsmanship of the late 19th century. Expertly framed and impeccably preserved, these banners remain in remarkable condition, ensuring their historical integrity. With a direct connection to a formative period in American football and Yale's storied athletic legacy, these banners are regarded as highly significant historical artifacts. They serve as tangible links to the rich history of American collegiate athletics and remain a coveted piece of sports memorabilia, and they both would be worth.
I would say on the pair, $4,000 to $6,000 would be a very fair estimate.
According to the appraiser, the insurance valuation for this pair will be around
Insurance purposes, which might be a little bit higher, $7,000 or $8,000. Keep them out of sunlight, and they'll retain their gloss. It's silk with gilt over the top.
This beautiful antique piece was bought for 50 cents by the guest more than 30 years ago. It is real jewelry, not custom jewelry, made with natural fresh pearls, and is from American rivers, also known as Mississippi River pearls. These pearls were made in Westeros, naturally, unlike others that are cultivated, and it has all the rose-cut diamonds, because it's an old piece. On the other side is a mark bearing the alphabets B, S, and F, which stand for Black, Star, and Frost, a very famous American jewelry firm, on par with Tiffany and other American jewelry makers. The rarity of these American pearls and their authentic signature make them valuable. The value of this piece of jewelry in the American market would be.
The value of this piece in today's market is between $3,000 and $4,000.
This fascinating picture, brought in by the guest, belonged to her dad, who had purchased it at an auction for a mere $30 back in 1960. The picture depicted a scene from the Moen Brewing Company, showcasing a horse-drawn brewery, unlike anything seen today. The absence of any cars in the picture indicates it predated the invention of the automobile. This detail, along with the style of the beer bottles, helped date the picture to the pre-Prohibition era, when the Moen Brewing Company was flourishing. While the brewery itself never reached the grand scale envisioned in the picture, the artwork remained a valuable piece of history. The appraiser classified it as brewerinia, a term for beer-related memorabilia. Considering its historical significance, excellent condition, and intricate details, the estimated price of the picture is.
I would suggest that at auction, this piece would be estimated $1,500 to $2,000. The details are fantastic, the condition is fantastic.
A guest brought in a French 19th century sculpture that belonged to Christine Hoyt, a friend of their mother's. Christine had travelled extensively in Europe before World War II, collecting antiques, including this statue. The sculpture, made by Alexandre Falguière, a leading academic sculptor in France. He was well known during his time for public commissions and work on the Paris Opera. The statue is signed by Falguière, which adds to its authenticity and value. Additionally, it's marked by Goupil and Company, a famous Parisian gallery with branches worldwide, known for publishing prints and making editions of bronzes. This gallery's connection further enhances the statue's historical significance. The statue features a lovely patina and high-quality casting, which the appraiser highlighted as particularly desirable attributes. The piece originally came with a pedestal and a turntable, allowing it to be viewed from all angles. The knob on the statue was used to rotate it, revealing its intricate details from every side. And as for its value,
at auction, we would probably get between $8,000 and $10,000 for it.
Oh my God!
Tiles often vary in color and design, but this tile is an exceptional example of groovy pottery craftsmanship. A guest received a tile from a friend, an antique dealer in Florida, in exchange for a mantel clock worth a few $100s. The appraiser confirmed the tile was made by the Groovy Pottery Company.
Okay, so let me tell you about this, why I like it and what I think it is, what I'm sure it is. You suspected it might be by Groovy Pottery Company. It is Groovy, and I can tell you it's Groovy for several reasons.
Key features include the artist's initials on the back and a distinct glaze pattern. The tile's division into 4 sections and its dozen colors further affirmed its origin. Unlike most Groovy tiles with 4 to 6 colors, this one boasts a vibrant array.
The type of decoration is called cuenca, which is like a burnt rope design where this burnt black line delineates one color field from the next.
The decoration style, called suenza, uses a black burnt line to separate color fields.
Beyond that, the main thing is the way these glazes have gathered. That's like a signature for Groovy.
The appraiser praised the tile for its strong, powerful image and excellent color separation. According to its characteristics, the appraiser valued it as,
at auction, this tile is worth somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000.
This beautifully exquisite lamp was produced by Tiffany Studios. Tiffany Studios represents one of the luxurious manufacturers of many beautiful products, including this one. Unlike other Tiffany lamps, this lamp shows no stained glasswork. However, the reason we can confirm it's a Tiffany lamp is because of a distinct feature.
This is a Favril Fabrique shade.
Okay.
It's also referred to as a linen fold shade.
It also features a brown to green finish that beautifies the lamp's metal. This exhilarating lamp was crafted in 1915 when a lamp like this one was used by the rich. The lamp also has a beautiful Favril fabric shade.
It does have a Tiffany Studios mark on the bottom, a brown to green finish on the metal.
At auction, this original desk lamp with a Favril shade and beautiful finish will sell for.
I would place a value on this for insurance from $4,000 to $6,000.
Really?
Toys are often cherished playthings, but these toy motorcycles are more than just childhood relics. They are rare collectibles, steeped in history and craftsmanship. A guest brought in a collection of cast iron toy motorcycles, inherited from their grandfather, a former motorcycle patrolman in Cleveland during the 1920s and 1930s. The appraiser identified them as products of Hubley Manufacturing Toy Company, dating back to the 1930s. The guest recalled admiring these toys as a child, but was never allowed to play with them.
I'm happy to report that these are all original condition. The paint is correct, the figures are proper, they are free from any breaks or cracks, which can often happen.
The appraiser noted the fragile nature of antique toys, particularly those made of brittle cast iron, emphasizing their susceptibility to damage. Despite their age, all motorcycles were in original condition, with intact paint and figures. The large Harley-Davidson hill climber stood out as the rarest and most coveted among collectors.
The large blue cycle here having the most wear and the most chips. What's really exciting for collectors on the large hill climber is that his rear,
featuring embossed details and nickeled wheels, the appraiser highlighted its desirability due to its condition and historical significance. According to the appraiser, the estimated value for each patrol cycle range.
In the 1930s, when these were being sold, they would have cost a few dollars, which at that time, that would have been a lot of money.
Right.
The appraiser valued the large hill climber as.
That can range anywhere from $2,000 up to even $3,000.
Wow.
The appraiser mentioned the collective value as.
Collectively, you're looking at an auction estimate of somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 of cast iron toys.
Wow, don't tell my wife that. She'll make me sell them and take her on a trip.
The charm of this samurai armor lies in its intricate design and rich history. In the mid to late 50s, the guest's father bought this piece, fascinated by its samurai legacy. Made from lightweight and durable materials, the armor was crafted to protect warriors from various blows. Overlapped lacquered metal scales and fabric layers highlight the advanced technology of its time.
At how small the scale was, because we've grown so much as the human race. Armor was meant to protect.
A silk panel with a dragon, clouds, and a flaming pearl adds artistry and symbolism. The silk is actually an 18th century Chinese fabric, which is quite rare and valuable. Experts believe the armor dates back to the 19th century, just before the Meiji period. An original lacquered box with a family crest hints at the armor's noble past.
You'll notice here that this is a dragon with clouds and a flaming pearl. This is actually silk.
Really?
Despite some missing pieces, like the articulated gloves, the overall condition is impressive. Blending historical significance and craftsmanship, this samurai armor is valued at.
At auction, I would expect this suit of armor to make somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000 today.
Oh, wow. Okay. Great.
If all the pieces were here and this were in perfect shape.
Guest stumbles upon a hidden treasure at an auction, a stunning glass piece by French artist Chimont. The story begins 35 years ago, when the guest first saw this beauty in an antique dealer's shop in Pittsburgh. The dealer prized it so much that it never went up for sale, but after his passing, the guest, determined not to miss their chance, attended the auction and secured the piece for a mere $120. It's crafted using the pâte de verre technique, where finely ground glass in various colors is meticulously molded and baked in a kiln. This technique often results in softer details, but this particular piece is an exception. The scarab beetles adorning the glass, a popular motif inspired by the recent discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb, boast exceptional clarity and sharp lines. The color saturation is also exceptional, highlighting the mastery of the artist. In perfect condition, it could fetch a staggering $18,000 to $24,000 at auction, possibly setting a new record for pâte de verre pieces by Chimont. Unfortunately, a crack running along the body of the sculpture significantly diminishes its value. While minor chips are negligible, the structural damage pushes the auction estimate down too.
At auction today, I would think that one might get $2,000 or $3,000 for it. It's very difficult when glass has been broken to determine exactly how much it might sell for.
Flags are not merely pieces of fabric. They hold stories of courage, sacrifice, and history. The appraiser praised it as one of the finest World War II flags he'd seen. It belonged to Bill Reed, a Flying Tigers pilot who destroyed 10.5 planes with the AVG and 8 more with the 14th Air Force. Reed tragically died in December 1944 during a mission when his plane ran out of fuel. Trying to bail out, he was struck by his plane and killed. He'd become a lieutenant colonel by then. The appraiser focused on the flag, identifying it as the headquarters flag of the 1st American Volunteer Group, also known as the AVG or the Flying Tigers. The flag is crafted from silk and entirely hand-embroidered. It features the inscription, 1st American Volunteer Group at the bottom. Additionally, there are Chinese characters on the side. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"This flag would probably bring between $20,000 and $40,000. It's a very unique item."
This bear was presented to our guest by her adoptive parents. The item is a scintillating German Stief bear. The bear was crafted in 1905 and was highly sought after at the time. This bear features shoe button eyes, signifying its origin predates World War I. Despite the bear's beige appearance, its brown nose signifies that it's actually a white bear.
Well, it's a beautiful German bear, and it's actually made by Stief.
Okay.
The body of the Stief bear consists of cardboard that is sewn into place. It is also worthy to note that collectors truly appreciate the unique charm and allure of these bears. In today's market, the luxurious Stief bear would auction at
Probably on today's market, at a shop, between $10,000 and $12,000.
Really?
Yeah, really.
These 3 prints are masterpieces in the photography industry because they were taken by Ansel Adams. These photographs were obtained by the owner of a flea market in Castro Valley. One of the prints, which is signed by Ansel, shows the beautiful waterfall, Nevada Falls. The prints are clearly the work of an expert and are highly prized pieces among collectors. It's worth noting that the remaining 2 prints of the mountain exhibit a hand-stamped mark.
I know you're concerned as to whether Ansel Adams actually made these prints, and I believe he did make them.
These photographic prints were taken in 1960 and are still in crisp condition. Ansel had an iconic method for taking photographs called negative photography, and these prints are great examples. These expertly photographed prints in today's auction market would sell for.
At auction, this group of photographs is worth $15,000 to $25,000.
What we have here today is a piece of advertising furniture designed for thread spool display. The guest purchased this item at an antique shop while on vacation in California. This piece was crafted to advertise Belding Brothers & Co. and is designed in the Eastlake style.
And it was obviously to advertise the Belding Brothers and Company. They made fine silk threads.
Named after Belding Brothers & Co. Charles Eastlake. Charles Eastlake was a British architect and furniture designer. On either side of the furniture, there are drawers for displaying silk threads.
You can choose your various threads, and I'm guessing when they were on display, they were probably in a rainbow of colors.
Yes. The door of the display case is surrounded by a mellow honey-colored oak, complemented by cherry pilasters running down the front. Mahogany adorns the drawer fronts, featuring intricate pull handles below the display. The shelving inside the central panel has been replaced, which could slightly affect its value at auction. Given its good condition, this Eastlake-style furniture piece is expected to attract a value of.
You're probably looking at an auction estimate in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. If I saw this in a shop today, I would expect maybe $4,000 for it.
Okay, thank you.
The watch originally belonged to the speaker's late great-uncle. It had remained unworn for decades until a recent cleaning and assessment revealed its value to be a couple of $1,000s. Patek Philippe, renowned for its watchmaking, introduced this as a first-generation automatic self-winding model. The watch featured an 18-karat gold rotor and Geneva Fuscor damascening, showcasing meticulous detail and quality. It retained its original water-resistant crown and screw back, which were crucial for maintaining its integrity. Identified as reference 2552, the watch was exceptionally rare to find in such impeccable condition, displaying only minor scratches. The appraiser estimated the value of this watch at
At a collector show, a watch in this condition can bring in the $10,000 to $15,000 range.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
The guest shared a collection of approximately 50 World War II era posters inherited from their great-grandmother. There were several notable pieces, including Rosie the Riveter posters promoting the Woman Ordnance Worker program. These posters were significant in depicting women's wartime contributions. Next, a Ben Shahn poster illustrating the devastating Lindice massacre, a tragic event during the Nazi occupation of Czechoslovakia, was brought up. Another poster by Charles Coyner, which had urged increased factory production with patriotic imagery, was also featured. Additionally, a unique set of posters from the Office of Price Administration caught the appraiser's attention. The appraiser estimated the value of these posters.
Cool. Okay. So together now, we're looking at between $6,000 and $8,200, and that's just for the ones we're looking at, not for the other ones that are in the pile.
Okay. The guest brought in a treasured chest, a cherished family heirloom passed down from their grandmother after the war. On examining this piece closely, it is revealed that the chest dates all the way back to 1680, a relic from the reign of King Charles II of England. The chest's condition was remarkable. It still boasts its original wooden pegs and the pull handle, a proof of its quality and careful preservation. Considering its impressive age and authenticity, its estimated value is.
If I were to see this come up for auction, I would expect it to bring around about $1,000. Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you so much. It's good to know about it.
The guest brought in a wood carving that sparked memories of shared experiences with their brother, Vernon, a skilled woodcarver. The intricate details and craftsmanship of the piece resonated with the guest. The carving is black forest carving, a style known for its detailed figures. Unlike many Black Forest pieces, this one stood out for its exceptional execution and allegorical theme. The carving showed a young woman, symbolizing maidenhood, feeding a flock of chickens. The lively scene showcased her gentle demeanor, the intricate details of her face, and the various animals interacting around her. All this was done from a single piece of wood. Despite the lack of a known artist, the piece has a conservative estimate of.
This piece would conservatively be worth $4,000 to $6,000.
Well, that's great.
Inheriting a collection of Art Deco jewelry from her great-aunt was a deeply emotional experience for the guest. The collection came along with an accompanying note urging her to enjoy the pieces and pass them on to her daughter. They belong to the Art Deco period, a highly sought-after era in jewelry design. Dating back to around 1930, the jewelry incorporated diamonds, sapphires, and platinum, the metal of choice for Art Deco jewelry. The key characteristics of Art Deco design were the geometric shapes, clean lines, and bold color contrasts, all of which were beautifully embodied in these pieces. The ring featured a stunning center diamond exceeding 2 carats, while the sapphires boasted an unusual French cut. The bracelet, a style bracelet with a wider center tapering towards the ends, has an exceptional execution. A jeweler had recommended an insurance value of $5,000. However, if offered at auction today as a complete set, these pieces would have a pre-sale estimate of.
If you were to sell the pieces as a suite, meaning sell them together, they would have a pre-sale auction estimate of $15,000 to $20,000.
This collection belongs to the guest's parents, who moved to Nigeria after her father, a professor at UCLA in California, participated in a university exchange program. During this period, these unique pieces came to be. The male carvings were already made, but then the guest's mother asked that they could also make female figures specifically for her. Colonialism opened a market for African carvers to create objects beyond traditional tribal pieces. The carvings belong to the thorn carving style, pioneered by the renowned Nigerian artist Akeredolu in the 1930s. The meticulous detail in each carving, showing the daily life in Africa, reminded the guest of certain childhood experiences. While not categorized as fine art, there is a growing popularity of folk art, a category into which these carvings fell. The true value of the collection is estimated to be
is worth $2,000 to $3,000.
You're kidding.
No?
Wow.
The guest brought in a seemingly ordinary piece of furniture, a dressing table, inherited from her family. It is, however, a true gem, a Boston lowboy or dressing table, dating back to 1750 to 1760. This early American piece, most likely used in a bedroom alongside a matching high chest, was crafted from walnut. Unlike many antique furniture pieces that go through repairs and replacements over time, this dressing table retains its original hardware and drawer pulls. Some features prove this is a Boston piece, like the distinctive scooped carved drawer with fan detailing, the apron shape, and the leg design. Unfortunately, the sun had bleached the wood over time, but a furniture conserver could restore its natural beauty. The estimated value is a staggering.
At auction, I would estimate $18,000 to $20,000.
Excuse me? Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
The guest shared the history of this clock, passed down through generations, originating from Baltimore in the early 1800s. This wasn't just any clock, it was a rare commemorative piece dedicated to George Washington. The statuary shows him delivering his famous farewell address, and the inscription below the dial bore the iconic quote, "First in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his countrymen." The clock's origin is French, crafted by a renowned bronzer named Dubuc. The inscription indicated a production period between 1808 and 1816. A recent sale of a comparable clock fetched a staggering $140,000. However, this clock has undergone some alterations, replaced hands, and refinished omolu, diminishing its value. Despite these issues, the final estimate is
between $50,000 to $80,000.
However, recently, the price of this clock rose to a staggering $110,000 to $125,000.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that.
Our guest purchased this vase in Leningrad, Russia, after the Second World War. It has the monogram of Nicholas II and is dated 1909. Our guest used it for tall flowers and branches for many years. This vase was made by Imperial Glass, the finest manufacturer of glass in Russia. It features a beautiful engraved floral design with an Art Nouveau feel. The design was hand-carved using a copper wheel, making it very expensive to produce. Unlike more commercial pieces, this vase has a high lead content and is very thick and heavy. At auction, this Russian vase could easily fetch a value of,
I would say the price you would have on it would certainly be in the $5,000 to $7,000 range.
That sounds very, very, very good.
This violin has been cherished as a family heirloom for generations. handed down from the guest's father, who was an Air Force Major General. He likely purchased it in Germany around the mid-1970s. Rather than playing it, the whole family admired its unique features, such as
I think that the lion carving for the top of the peg box makes it really, really unique. Indeed, it looks like it's been a beloved violin. You can tell by the creases in the fingerboard that the strings make as it's played, and that this has been a violin that's been played.
Inside the violin, the guest discovered intriguing labels in languages she couldn't decipher. Its back, made of bird's eye maple, reflects its German craftsmanship heritage. Among the labels inside, one attributed to Niccolo Amati turned out to be false, while another revealed a surprising maker's mark. It was made by Matthias Hornsteiner in Mittenwald in 1781. Mittenwald, nestled in the Bavarian Alps, has been renowned for violin making since the 1600s. The violin remains remarkably preserved, with all its original features intact. The estimated value of this piece is...
We would put a retail value on it of $20,000.
Oh my, really? Really?
That's right, and that's conservative.
We proudly present a baseball signed by some of the legends of the game. One of such signatures is that of a man celebrated as the first African American to break the color barrier in modern Major League Baseball, Jackie Robinson. Robinson's signing with the Dodgers signaled the end of racial segregation in professional baseball.
Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in the major leagues in 1947. Teams and fans were mostly segregated.
Another signature is that of a distinguished catcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers, Roy Campanella. His career was tragically cut short due to paralysis from a car accident in January 1958. Then there's the signature of the first black pitcher to win a World Series game in 1952, Joe Black. Belonging to a versatile second baseman and coach for the Dodgers, the man whose signature appears here was honored as a National League Rookie of the Year in 1953, Junior Gilliam. The baseball features the autographs of all four players, collected at Wrigley Field during a 1953 game between the Dodgers and the Cubs. On the other side, it also holds the distinguished signature of an iconic center fielder known for his extraordinary career, Ty Cobb. For insurance purposes, this remarkable piece would be appraised at...
I'd place an insurance value of $15,000 on the ball.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
Oh, happy to be here.
The guest brought a violin she'd appraised and was informed that the label inside was a forgery. The violin was identified as a labeled Joseph Hornsteiner, Mittenwald, 1792 piece. Joseph Hornsteiner violins are good for beginners due to their good quality and user-friendly models. Being the maker for over 2 centuries, the Hornsteiner dynasty excelled both in longevity of the line and reputation. Their violins were so famous that even the Gläsel firm in Germany currently offers a Hornsteiner model. To the guest's amazement, the appraiser multiplied the initial cost of this violin by 10 and valued the piece to be...
You bought it for how much?
$700.
Try times 10?
Yes, $7,000 to $8,000.
While living in Denver, a gentleman offered the guest a trunk for $25, which he used as a coffee table in front of his sofa for nearly 40 years. The trunk was identified as a Louis Vuitton piece, likely made in the mid to late 19th century, with each leather piece stamped Louis Vuitton. There was also an ironing board within the trunk, emphasizing its sturdiness. The trunk's value was estimated to be between...
A trunk like this would probably be worth $6,000 to $8,000.
Oh.
This robe evokes a nostalgic feeling for many Asian antique collectors. It is a Chinese festival robe crafted in 1880. When you take a close look at it, the robe appears to be newly made, and this is because the Chinese were masters in the craft of weaving. The patterns on the robe provide a distinctive and appealing look. A look at the bottom reveals a strip called lishui, created through embroidery.
What happens is, in terms of embroidery, that technique is very, very easy to do.
Okay.
So the earlier robes do less of it, and the later robes do more of it.
Robes like these were worn on special occasions, such as weddings or festivals. Since the patterns are unique, they help bring the wearer to the center of attention.
So there'd be many women around the house who'd be doing nothing but embroidery and cooking in the household.
I see.
So they'd be producing things like this in vast quantities for usage for the family.
This robe was worn by the imperial household, and thus would retail at the auction price of
for this robe to sell for at least $6,000.
Oh, wow.
The couple discovered a box containing these books in the house they purchased. This 1910 third edition of American Woods by R.B. Hugh is esteemed in dendrology. This edition, part of a multi-volume series, meticulously and comprehensively catalogues North American tree species. American Woods volumes feature descriptions, uses, habitats, and mounted wood samples. These plates have different types of woods. These samples let readers see the unique grains and textures firsthand. In 14 volumes, over 1,000 American trees are identified by wood samples. Recognizing its significance in the study of trees, the appraiser valued the item.
Approximately $30,000.
You're kidding.
In about 1982, the guest acquired this pot from a friend for $20, hoping it would be a Gruby vase. The pot indeed had characteristics similar to a Gruby piece, such as its organic design with carved leaves, buds, and buttressed feet. However, it was identified as not a Gruby piece. Instead, it was a piece of Wheatley pottery from Cincinnati, made by Thomas Wheatley, who had created art and craft pieces similar to Gruby's style. This pot was molded rather than hand-thrown and carved, as Gruby pieces typically were. The appraiser praised the pot's form, color, and glaze. Even with a small chip on the foot, he estimated its auction value to be between.
At auction, this would sell for somewhere in the $1,500 to $2,000 range.
Oh, wow. If it had been an actual Gruby, the value could have exceeded $20,000. This Patek Philippe watch is a perfect representation of exhilarating luxury. As the creator of some of the world's most expensive watches,
which is a company founded in Switzerland in the 1830s. And their great contribution to watches was Mr. Philippe discovered how you could wind and set the watch at a crown, getting rid of watch keys.
This gold pocket watch is no different, being made from real gold. A watch like this is rare to come by and surely serves as an extremely valuable heirloom. The movement of this watch at the time of its making was revolutionary. Close examination of the watch reveals it was made in 1928, and it remains unscathed. This watch, at the time of its creation, was designed to be a special piece.
But if you look closely at this watch, you will see right about there a small seal from the Geneva Observatory that tells you that this was a certified chronometer. It was a special watch.
It is believed watches like this one were used by the rich to show off their wealth. If this luxurious gold pocket watch were to be auctioned in today's market, it would sell for. A guest brought in a pair of chairs, which he believed were from the 1960s. The chairs, which belonged to her grandmother, were purchased from the Knights of Columbus for $5. The appraiser identified the chairs as original Eames chairs by Charles and Ray Eames, dating back to 1949.
They're a little earlier than you think. They're 1949.
Oh, wow.
So the design came about in 1947. It was a MoMA design competition.
These specific chairs were some of the earliest models, featuring several distinctive elements. The label on the underside indicated a Herman Miller Zenith Plastics collaboration from 1949. Additionally, the chairs had a rope edge in the fiberglass and a slightly transparent parchment color when illuminated. Although the chairs were in good condition, one of them had a crack, which affected its value. Considering their desirability, the auction value suggested was...
The auction value would have been about $2,000.
A tankard, a solid silver piece distinguished by its craftsmanship from the Georgian period in England, is the item at the center of attention. This tankard has been in the family for several years, initially given to the guest's father. Seeking more information, the guest had it appraised at a retail store for $300, with no further details provided. It features a distinctive scroll handle and intricate marks on the lid and side. Marks on the tankard indicate it was crafted during the reign of George II in London, dating back to 1737. Robert Brown is the silversmith responsible for its creation. It was confirmed by the precise English hallmarking system, renowned for accuracy and identifying silver item origins and quality. If placed in a well-advertised auction, its estimated worth ranges from
good estimated value for this tankard is about $4,000 to $6,000.
Is that right?
guest's father, a post-World War II architect with a passion for neoclassical features, amassed a vast library of encyclopedias and books. Among these is an incredible selection of works by the renowned 18th century Italian printmaker Giovanni Piranesi. Piranesi, born in Venice, moved to Rome in 1740 and mastered printmaking to document Roman architecture. One volume features a series of etchings depicting Roman architectural history. Another significant volume, Magnificenza, argues that Roman architecture was inspired by the Etruscans rather than the Greeks. Piranesi's collection of 330 detailed, beautiful, and historically significant prints is highly valued. These volumes, in early 19th century bindings, are remarkably well preserved without foxing or wormholes, which is uncommon for their age.
That's not uncommon, shipping, but these bindings are early 19th century. The one that we're holding now is 18th century.
Nevertheless, the entire collection has an aggregate auction value estimated between,
Grouped together, I think the aggregate auction value for the whole collection would be in the range of $50,000 to $70,000.
Thank you, Dad.
A French clock, identified as a crystal regulator, is the centerpiece of a family's heirloom collection. It boasts an oversized and ornate design, typical of European craftsmanship.
Mechanically, clocks like this are very, very good quality, and this really represents a period of about 1900 when these were made.
Sought after by affluent families on Bellevue Avenue during the early 20th century. Constructed in brass with a fire-gilded finish that remarkably retains its original luster, this clock is known for its intricate mechanics and exquisite glass detailing on all sides. Such clocks, revered for their craftsmanship and mechanical precision, epitomize the luxurious taste of the era around 1900. Its historical provenance and exceptional condition make it a prized possession. Recently serviced to ensure its functionality, the clock's current appraisal value is between
Estimate on this clock somewhere in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $10,000.
Wow, love that.
A lamp purchased at an auction in 1985 in Charlottesville, Virginia, caught the eye of the guest for its resemblance to one seen in the movie The Sting with Paul Newman. Subsequent reading of a magazine article identified the maker as Dirk van Erp. Dirk van Erp, a Dutch immigrant who settled in Northern Carolina in the late 19th century, crafted the lamp.
And became a pioneer and leading figure in the American arts and crafts decorative arts field.
Bearing his signature windmill mark, the lamp dates to circa 1910 to 1912 as indicated by a closed box design. Constructed of copper and mica, the lamp features rivets showcasing Van Erp's craftsmanship and attention to detail. Despite needing cleaning, the lamp remains in good condition. At auction, such early and well-preserved Van Erp lamps typically command prices ranging around.
And I would expect this at auction to sell for in the region of $20,000 to $25,000.
You kidding me?
I am not kidding.
Wow.
Poster of Mount St. Helens from the 1940s, specifically post-World War II, is being discussed. This Northern Pacific Railroad poster and others belong to the guest's friend's father, a World War II veteran. Among the collection is another Northern Pacific poster featuring a locomotive, illustrated by Gustav Krollman. Despite its poor condition, this poster showcases the North Coast Limited, a famous locomotive of the time. Another notable poster is of Yellowstone Park, depicting Old Faithful, created by Edward Bremer. These posters capture the essence of American history and post-war railway advertising. Dating back to the 1930s, such posters have become highly collectible in the poster field due to their historical significance and collectible nature. At auction, these posters are valued at around.
The Yellowstone Park Old Faithful sold just last year for $2,800.
You gotta be kidding me.
And the image of the locomotive...
I don't want to know, I think.
Jacket belonging to Carroll O'Connor, known for his role as Archie Bunker, was found at an estate sale in Malibu, California. This jacket is in excellent condition, and it came from O'Connor's daughter-in-law after his wife's passing. O'Connor's jacket returned fond memories of the guest's family enjoying the show together, All in the Family, which was known for challenging social stereotypes through humor, with Archie Bunker as the central figure.
This guy in this jacket
just changing America by being a bigot, and everybody could see the humor in that.
Despite not being custom made, it holds significant value due to its provenance. Photos of O'Connor wearing the jacket on the show, complete with his distinctive flag lapel pin, authenticate its history. In a memorable scene with Sammy Davis Jr., where a kiss broke the show's laugh record, the coat is visible. In pristine condition, at auction, the jacket is valued at.
At auction, this is worth $10,000 to $15,000.
No! You are kidding me!
No, I'm not. No.
This guest and her husband discovered an oil painting dated 1953 by Kenneth Nunemaker, a self-taught artist associated with the Pennsylvania Impressionist movement. Known for his vigorous brushworks influenced by Edward Redfield, Nunemaker often painted en plein air, capturing scenes with vibrant energy. Titled Bill's Place, the painting was acquired for a mere $2, surprising the guest with its artistic quality. It bears Nunemaker's signature and is marked with the locations New Hope, Pennsylvania, and Center Bridge, where the artist lived and worked.
Label from 1874. Now, the difficult thing with these is putting a price on them. Each one is different.
Due to the rarity of Nunemaker's works on the market, its auction value is between.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's very exciting.
Good.
Yes.
Collection of flags were discussed, highlighting their historical significance and unique characteristics. 3 specific flags from Texas and US history reflect unique star arrangements following Texas's admission as the 28th state in 1845. The first flag features red, white, and blue stripes, suggested by Benjamin Franklin.
However, Benjamin Franklin told the French, in looking for our ships, to look for a flag with red, white, and blue stripes.
Diverging from traditional US flag designs, stars on this flag were painted in a way to create a dimensional effect. Originally a 32-star flag, the second flag had space for extra stars that were never added, which was common among flag makers then. On one side, the stars are hand-appliqued, while on the other side, the blue canton is cut to create peek-through stars. Arranged in a great luminary or great star pattern, the third flag displays stars forming the shape of a larger star.
And because Iowa was added later on in December of that year, this flag was only official for 1 year, so it's a pretty rare flag.
Reflecting their historical significance, this collection of 3 great flags is valued at around.
Value-wise, the Great Luminary would probably go at auction today for somewhere between $14,000 and $16,000.
Doesn't want a palm tree in their living room. This was the thought that led the celebrity to purchase a striking brass palm tree. They love this piece, describing it as a bold statement of success.
I think it said it was from a hotel lobby from the late 60s, I think almost even actually early 70s.
Purchased online for about $5,000 to $6,000, the piece was listed as being from a hotel lobby, dating back to the late 60s or early 70s. It was one of the first significant purchases the celebrity made, driven by its wild and unique appeal. When asked if they knew which hotel it came from, the celebrity admitted they never found out, but joked that it could have belonged to an old lady in Miami with a fabulous sense of style. The appraiser remarked that if it were from one of the iconic Miami Beach hotels, it could add significant value. However, even without that provenance, the piece is a cool and sculptural example of 50s interior design, likely made in Asia or South America. The appraiser estimated its auction value would be around.
I'd probably estimate it at auction in the $4,000 to $6,000 range, about what you paid for it. It's really a striking piece for the corner of your home.
Yeah, I love it.
He affirmed that it's a striking piece, perfect for the corner of any home. This charming English bracket clock chimes every quarter hour and strikes the hour with a beautiful gong. The guest estimates the clock's age to be between 1770 and 1780.
It is signed by a maker in Brighton, England. I tried to find out some information on the maker and...
Beautiful finish is actually celluloid, designed to resemble tortoiseshell. The expert corrects the age, placing it between 1851 and 1878, made by the Brighton clockmaker, Boxall. It features a unique silent strike option, perfect for peaceful nights. Exquisite details include a silver chapter ring, elegant mounts and scrolled feet with traces of gold. Interestingly, the clock is signed and numbered on the back. Despite the imitation shell, the appraiser values the clock at.
In a retail setting, I would suspect that this clock would sell for around $4,500.
Okay. I know he had a son later, in a later period.
Right.